Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me on Their Fight Story. We have Helen with us today. Helen, how are you doing today?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm doing good, thank you. How did you get started in your mixed martial arts career?
It was just by coincidence. I had a housewarming party, and one of my friends showed up, and he was like, "Oh my God, did you see how Ronda Rousey got knocked out?" And I told him, "I don't know who Ronda Rousey is," and he just couldn't believe it. He lost it. He's like, "How could you not know? Like, what planet you live in?" And he pulled up his phone. He started showing me the fight, and as I'm watching the fight, he forgot to tell me which one is Ronda, and I honestly had no idea. So I'm watching, and I see her go for a shot for a takedown, and she misses, and she turns around, and I see her face, and I'm like, "Oh, that's the girl that's gonna get knocked out." And he's like, "Yeah, whatever, just wash it." So I'm washing, and then I see the way she's circling, and Hallie Holmes had already thrown that kick. So I'm like, she's open for the head kick, and just right before I finished that sentence, she got kicked in the head. And I was like, I felt like I predicted it, but obviously this is a replay. So after that, he wasn't sure whether or not I already watched the fight. But for me, it was like a revelation. I was like, I could,
Yeah.
I feel this stuff. So I went back and I started watching more of her fights and watching all the MMA fights. And I just fell in love with the mean mugging, the walkout, the cockiness, the beating people up. I was like, you know what? That's something I can do. And then I started training.
All from watching that fight?
What was that?
I said you got that all from watching that fight?
Yeah, from watching that fight immediately, I was like, that's something I can do. Because to me, it looked so simple, even though I'd never
Yeah.
seen it before. And I was like, man, I didn't know you could like make a career out of beating people up, because I always enjoyed that as a kid, but I used to get in trouble for it. So I was like, okay, I used to get in trouble for it, but now I can do it and get paid for it. That sounds great.
How did your parents feel when you started training martial arts?
I don't think they took that seriously. I don't think they still, I'm not sure if they still not understanding that this is what I do. They don't get it. I mean, Dominican Republic, nobody does mixed martial arts. We play baseball, you
Yeah.
know, that's as far as it
Yes.
goes. So they're still confused. They think I'm a boxer. They don't really follow.
Yeah. That's the interesting conversation. Do you have any siblings?
I do.
And how do they feel about you fighting?
Um, I think they think it's really exciting, and they think I'm a little bit crazy. But some of them, they're like, "Yeah, you always love beating people up, including us." So yeah, that fits you. So I'm like, "Yeah, I was undefeated in my household." So
That's awesome. Where are you currently training?
right now, I'm training at Martinez BJJ in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and it's kind of my new team. I came here to visit New Jersey. I was doing some work there. I was working cutting wood, chopping wood. I figure it would be a good way to get in shape. It's really hard work, and just try something different and make some gas money. And while I was there, I kind of got a little bored, and I was like, "Is there a mixed martial art gym I can go to?" And then I met this girl through an acquaintance. Her name is Crisera Adames. She's a professional fighter, but I was intrigued
Mhm.
because she's also from Dominican Republic, and I never met a professional female fighter from Dominican Republic. So I said, you know what,
Mhm.
I'm gonna go visit that gym. It's only 45 minutes away. So I went, and from day one we got along very well, and which is rare.
Mhm.
There's a lot of ego in mixed martial arts, especially at the professional level. So when I got there,
Mhm.
I went there for a sparring day. Usually I have to accommodate the other girl's ego because it's their gym, they don't want to look bad, all of that. I didn't
Mhm.
have to do that this time. And it was awesome. Her coach was awesome. Everybody was good to train with. Um, they are very, very big in grappling and wrestling, and
Mhm.
just, you know, completely destroying your opponent in every aspect. And I'm a striker mostly, so I'm like, all right, this is a good gym for me because I rely mostly on my
Mhm.
striking, but they're kind of making me blend my striking with the grappling, even though I'm not the grappler. They're like, it doesn't matter that she's a wrestler.
Mhm.
Take her down and punch her in the face. I was like, yeah, let's do that. Instead of avoiding the takedown, just take her down and let her know that she doesn't have a chance. I was like, I like that better. And since then, I joined the team, and I don't regret anything. It's been a good transition.
How long have you been training with them?
It's been about four weeks.
Okay. And what other experiences have you had with trying to cross train at other gyms?
Oh, I had all kinds of experiences. I've been through more than 15 gyms. And usually most high
Okay.
level gyms, they might have one female fighter. And they never know how good they are because all of their training partners are male. So they
Hmm.
always have that built-in excuse. Like, I'm not doing well because you're a man. So when I come in and then they start realizing some things, then that's why I have to accommodate their ego. And it's annoying
Hmm.
because I just like to train. I don't go there to win. To me, if I win too many times in one gym, I just move on because that means there's nothing for me to learn. So I don't go there to win. I go there to
Hmm.
train, but I have to take into account the politics. When I show up, everybody's watching because they know they only have one other female fighter and they want to see how they do. And I
Hmm.
think that adds a little bit of anxiety to their performances, and they become a little annoying. I mean, women's are fucking complicated, so it's hard for me to like, okay, understand this. I'm not here to compete with you. I'm here to train. So I had to deal with some
Yeah.
stuff. But I have a very good personality for that because I don't have an ego. Like I'm very
Hmm.
comfortable with who I am, so it's easy for me. If I have to let you win a couple of times until I gain your trust, I do, and then once we become friends, then I'll beat you up. Once you understand it's coming from a place of love because I want you to win your fight, then I'll beat you up and you thank me for it, as opposed to me walking in there beating you up and then not being welcome back to the gym.
Yes. Oh, that is too funny. That is very funny. You're giving them the ability to actually beat them up later, making them feel comfortable.
Yeah, when they feel when they realize it's not from a place of competitives. I'm not here to compete
Yes.
with you. I need a
Yes.
paycheck and a walkout song. Like, I'm not trying to do this for free. So if I beat you up, it's because I care about you. When I don't like somebody because of their personality, I let them win. You're not learning shit today. Yeah, you win, and then I get another
Oh,
partner. That's it. That's how I do it. If I'm trying to beat you up gently, that means I care. That means I want to give you
yeah.
everything that I can. So when you take that walk to the ring, there's nothing that other shit can do to you
Hmm.
that I didn't do to you already. So you are mentally prepared. But if it's always easy in training, the moment you find
Hmm.
yourself in a real fight, within a fight, you quit. I see people quit all the time. I watch all fights every weekend. I spend most of my time watching fights, and I see
Hmm.
most people, they beat themselves before their opponent beats them, and it's because they don't get that real experience, especially female fighters, because most of the time they do not have training partners their size. It's really hard to find someone your size where you can go hard without getting injured before your fight. Getting injured before your fight is very common. Even the UFC card coming up this Saturday, there's already 4 people who backed out because of injuries,
Hmm.
especially 2 weeks before the fight. You want to work hard because you have a big fight, but then injuries become more prone to happen because ego, because of little things like that.
Hmm. Do you normally train with men or mostly women?
Mostly men, and that's why I travel a lot trying to create
Hmm.
relationships with women, and that's why I joined this team so quickly. Like, I've only been here for 4 weeks and I already joined the
Hmm.
team because I found a great female fighter that, because the most importantly is the attitude. The
Hmm.
attitude towards training is one of the most important things. I know a lot of people with skills. Many people have skills, but it's your attitude towards martial arts that
Hmm.
makes the difference between a successful training camp and an unsuccessful training camp. I know people who leave their town to go to a high level gym for a fight, and then 2 weeks before the fight, they have to back out because they're hurt. I'm like, well, I'm
Hmm.
glad you learned a lot. You're not
Exactly.
competing, so it doesn't really matter.
How how has your camp been for this fight coming up?
It's been very good. It's been very interesting because there was a lot of things that I used to avoid. My
Hmm.
previous camp were focused on my striking and avoiding the grappling because I always
Okay.
felt. I guess I'm so young in my career, only been training for 5 years. I always felt that my opponents were always better than me on the ground, so I will avoid it. And because I'm always avoiding grappling, then that would take away from my striking and it would become a little more slappy than it already was. It was already slappy. No excuses. But it will become more slappy because I'm trying not to let them get to my legs, right? But in
Yeah.
this camp, I realized I'm actually good on the ground and I'm good at not getting there as long as I'm relaxed. But so they've been
Hmm.
building my confidence on my ability to grapple and my ability to negate the grappling if I have to.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Now, you fought during the pandemic. How was that different from your previous fights?
Well, there was many things going into that. I took the fight in 24 hours notice. and I have to lose 20 pounds. So most
Wow.
of yeah, it was crazy. I took it because I was preparing for other fights, and I had like 5 fights canceled because of the pandemic, and I was so
Hmm.
frustrated. I drove home from Georgia on a Friday, got home early Saturday, and I just started eating all the foods because I've been cutting weight already 5 times with no fight. So I'm cutting weight and cutting weight. My body took a beating. So then I just started eating, and even beer. I was drinking beer, which makes you gain weight. Just all kinds of food, no discrimination. And I have never been more than 140 pounds, even before fighting. And I hit 142 pounds on Sunday, just in 2 days, 48 hours. That's how much I ate. Then on Monday, I get a message from the president of Invicta Fighting Championship saying, we're just checking around, see how everybody's weight is in case we need somebody. I was like, oh damn. So I lied and I said I'm 135 pounds, but I can cut, you know. So when they finally told me that there was a fight, that was after weigh-ins. You know, one of the girls tested positive for COVID and they needed
Yeah.
someone. So I dropped all the way down to 119.3 pounds from 142.
Wow.
I mean, I had already, like, the moment I got the call, I started, you know, like, okay, I'm not gonna eat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna eat less. Obviously, I'm gonna stop all the trash food and stuff like that. But
Hmm.
then I just put on and then there was no sauna available. Everything was shut down, so there was no
Oh,
way
that's
for me to
right.
cut
Yeah.
weight passively. So I have to do it actively. So I put sweat cream on, put my body in a bag, and I just started moving in the garage. No gym, nothing. I was just in my garage, and the fight was to lose 20 pounds. And once I did that, the next day was fight day. I couldn't really hold foods. It was just bad.
Yeah.
I lost my depth perception, so I couldn't tell how close things were, and I couldn't
Oh,
hear because I
wow.
felt like I was in an airplane. Yeah, because I reached
Okay.
that point. But if you see me, you wouldn't know because I'll be like, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine. You know, let's go, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I walk into the ring, it was really quiet. It was really, really quiet. That's the one thing I noticed, and I think that might have helped me because it was so disorienting. When you're dehydrated, you
Yeah.
become very disoriented. So if there would have been a crowd yelling from different, you know, places in that it was in a church, so it echoes. So I think that would have really might have worked against me if there would have been a crowd. So
Hmm.
now having a crowd it felt like a sparring session the whole time. I
Okay.
don't think I ever like smile or mean mug at her between rounds. I was just like walk to the middle of the ring like, all right,
Yeah.
here we again, like, why are you not knocked out, what's happening?
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
and that I was having muscle cramps everywhere, but I don't know. The girl was a striker, you know, and if you're a striker, I hit way harder. I'm just gonna hit you so
Yeah.
hard that you're gonna forget how to throw a jab. And I think, you know, I was able to win the fight 30-27. So I won every round, but I started grappling against the cage instead of striking
Yeah.
because I couldn't tell how far she was. It was a mess. But I really like the silence because you can hear
Hmm.
your coaches, you can hear your opponent's coach, and you can hear them breathing. Because I like to tell
Okay.
them if they're getting tired. You know, I like to tell them, "You're getting tired. Come on now. It's only been one round. Why are you getting tired?" You're supposed to be a professional athlete. What's going on?
Oh, you're too funny. What did you learn from that particular fight as far as the cutting weight, just being prepared? What did you take from it?
Unfortunately, because I'm very hard headed, I didn't learn much from that. I thought that the reason why I felt the way I felt was just because it was 24 hours. I did not think, oh,
Okay.
maybe, you know, I've been training so hard, maybe I should go up a weight class. I thought, oh, no, this happened because it was 24-hour notice. I gave myself all the excuses in the world, and I didn't learn much from it, except for the fact that I'm never doing that again. That's the only thing I learned. Never doing that again. That was crazy. I'm never putting my guard down that way, just eating just random foods at all times of the
Hmm.
day. It's not going to happen until I'm done with my career. Then once I'm done training, my new goal will be to get fat, which is probably not it's so difficult to do when you enjoy food the way I do.
Oh my God, you're too funny. Who is your biggest supporter in your career?
My biggest supporter, that's a hard one. I have like 3 or 4 people who are not related to me in any way, shape, or form,
Hmm.
who are great supporters of my career, and I have my cousin Liz. We are roommates in Iowa, although I spend very little time there, but I still call her my roommate, which is my cousin, and she's been there for me since day one. She's always supported. She's seen me fight even when I didn't know how to throw a punch. I would just come out and just like windmill punches in a circle and just somehow punch the girl in the face, and then it's done. And even though I had no technique, she's like, you're going to make it because you're so calm. Like, when I'm in there, I just feel like I'm home. It's like, there's nothing, you're not going to make me quit. You will have to kill me for me not to get back up and make you pay for what you just did. So it's like, when I'm in there, it's just like, I have this energy. It's, I don't know, it's like an spiritual experience. And she told me from day one, she was like, it doesn't look that good right now, but I think you belong in there. I never seen you happier than when you're in that ring. And from day one, you know, she started supporting me. And besides that, just being people who are not related to me in any way, but they see how hard I work and how hard I try. And, you know, and they just kind of, you know, they feel like, you know what, this is something I want to support. This is something I want to be part of, even if I'm not the one getting in the ring.
Yeah. How are you handling finding the right sponsors to represent?
That's been difficult. My sponsors are people who don't really benefit from being sponsors at all. They sponsor me because they see the hustle and they just want to help me out. I don't benefit them at all. Because I'm really shy, you know. I'm not good at selling anything. One time I had a table to sell a shirt. I sold 3 and I gave away 13. Because some people thought, oh, I don't have money. I'm like, you should take it anyway. So I'm not good at selling stuff. So it's being a little difficult. Being difficult to get sponsors for me because of that. But I do have a few who they're just supporting me because they want to see me succeed. They're not expecting anything in return for it.
So what do you look for when you're looking for a sponsor? Because not only are they representing you, but you're representing them. So is there something that you look for? Or you just, whoever wants to help?
It depends, because if you are selling a product and it's something that is consumed, I'm a professional chef. If I don't believe in the brand, I don't care how much you pay me, I'm not doing it. If I'm going to sell my soul, it's got to be for a lot of money. So if, you know, for a couple $100, you're telling me this is great for, you know, hair, to grow your hair. And I'm like, how do I measure that? I have to use it and say before I tell my friends they should buy this crap.
Yeah.
You know, if you are part of one of those MLT, those like multi-level companies, like it's a pyramid scheme, I'm not getting my friends into that. It's not going to happen. If you're selling anything that I know is not good for you to consume, I'm not going to put your logo in my shirt. I'm not going to tag you. I'm not going to say, oh, I use this every day and I feel great, because I don't believe in it. So that's one thing. Fight gears and stuff like that, you know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the person. Then yeah, you know, if you have a fight gear company and I like your product, then I'll be interested. If I don't like your product, how am I going to go online and say these gloves are great when I know they break in a week? I can't do that. You know, it's not going to work out. So I like legitimacy. I think that would be the thing. Legitimacy is the one thing I look for, and you have to be trustworthy. Your product. If you have a good product, then it's easy to sell. I don't have to be a good salesman if you have a good product. And that's been the biggest hurdle for me to get sponsored. Because if I don't believe in something, I just don't go there.
How do you market yourself?
I'm learning. I'm watching YouTube videos, okay? But here's the thing. You know, as a female fighter, it's changing. But as a female fighter, fighting alone is not going to get you anywhere. We want to see your tits, you know, your cute pictures on social media and that stuff. You know, and every time you work out, you just take your shirt off and you do it on your bra, and then nobody's paying attention to the technique, you know, because the casuals, what we call the casuals, that's about 90 people who buy the fights. In order for them to be engaged, they don't care so much about your skills. The hardcore fans do care about your skills, but there's so little of them that it's not enough to drive the market for you to be a sponsor, with only 5% of the people that are watching you rely on your skills. So right now I'm taking the approach of, you know, my personality, which is what I want to promote, because I feel like I have a lot to offer. I mean, and don't get me wrong, I know what I'm working with. I look great, but I refuse to play that game. There's so much of it already out there. You know, the market is saturated with fake boobs. And like, look at a picture. All these girls, it's just like their ass is covering the whole camera, and they're like, look at this building behind me. I'm like, I can't see the building. I know what you're doing. I know what you're doing, and I think that's a nice butt too, and I'll like it, but don't, I can't. It's not my personality. It's not who I am. So I'm looking for other ways to do that, and I want to take the approach into, like, I want to be a motivational speaker when
Yeah.
10 years from now. So right now I'm just collecting cool stories to go with it, and that's how I want to market myself. It's just someone that can help you discover the badass that you have in you, because we all have the capability to be great, but people hesitate too much. They hesitate for
Mm-hmm.
everything. But if you don't know what you want to do with your life, instead of spending your whole life trying to figure out what is the safe way, just pick something you really like,
Yes.
because you might be disappointed anyways. You might fail at something you don't even want to do, so you might as well
Mm-hmm.
fail at something you do want to do, and go for it. And then failures is part of it. Like, most of the people who do not fail is because they don't try hard enough.
Mm-hmm.
The moment they fail the first time, it's like, oh, I don't want to look bad, so I'm just gonna backdate my dreams and go get my
Yes.
9 to 5 and do that forever, because they don't want, it's all about how you look. This new generation is all about how things look. So if they don't look good doing it, they're like, okay, I'm not gonna put in the work. I'd rather just,
Yeah.
do what everybody else is doing.
I love it. I love that you said that in about 10 years you want to be a motivational speaker. And that catchphrase, finding the badass in you, I can definitely see you taking off with it, because you represent it, you believe in it, and that's who you are. And you've been a badass since you were born. So now you're able to show it to other people and have them grow and be that, which is awesome. Hopefully you can do it sooner, so people can start that process. But I love that. I
Yeah, I
totally
think
love
less than 10 years from now, I'll be working into that direction. The problem with people these days is that if you're not famous, nobody cares about what you have to say.
it.
So
Yes.
the only reason why I'm competing at this highest level and taking all the risks that I'm taking, it's not because being the UFC champion is my dream. It's not my dream. That's just something I want to do because it looks cool on my resume. It's not my dream. Sorry, I have bigger dreams like that. The only reason why I'm competing at this level is because I want to get a hold of the mic. So then once I'm
Yep.
popular, people will listen to the message I have. Because right now, nobody cares. It's the reality. It's sad, but it's the reality.
It is, and I'm like, it's so true, and you're so genuine, and it's you. I mean, the way you say it is, you say it truthfully. You're not holding back, and it's true. Like, so many people get caught up in the labels that they miss the big picture. And what is your goal? When you get there and you have that mic, what is going to be your goal? What are you going to tell people?
I'm going to let people know I'm not special. One day I woke up, I was drunk when I said I wanted to be world champion. Then all of a sudden, I just decided to show up, put in the work, put in the effort, dedicate single mindedly to one goal, and I got it. Because life is that simple. If you really, really want something, you have to put everything else aside and concentrate on that one thing. And the moment that it becomes difficult, you can't just quit.
Yeah.
Because if you quit, you will never do it. It will never happen for you. And there's nothing special about me. I can do that with anything I pick. It's like when I picked my first bare knuckle fight, I went against the champion, and I was like, man, I don't even know how to box. I taught myself through YouTube videos. I was training with one of my coaches. We didn't even know what bare knuckle fighting was. We watched
Yeah.
video. I would tell him what I wanted to work on. He would hold mitts for me, and then I went out there and I beat the champion in a war. Just one of the best fights I ever seen. When she knocked me down, I had put the hashtag of the event on my
Yeah.
promotional shirt. It says hashtag BKFC7, which when you click on it, it sends you to all the pictures from the event. So
Mhm.
she knocks me down, and I'm like, oh, I can't let it be this. When people go look up that hashtag, it has to be me fucking her up. Like, I got right back up, and I was like, no, 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 no. I went right after her, and I was like, no, this is not. And I'm not special. I think she's better fighter than me. It's just I was not gonna be denied. I have one track minded, and I
Mhm.
strongly believe that when you do want something, if you say this is what I really want to do, if you concentrate on that one thing, then you can get it. But if you
Mhm.
split your attention to so many different things, like random things, like what people are gonna think, stuff like that, you're not gonna be strong in the pursuit of your goals. They said a general that devises army in 100 places is weak in 100 places. So nothing special here. I'm just single-minded, one-track-minded to what I want to do, and that's how I'm able to accomplish this thing that I want to do. And that's what I want to teach people. But first, I need to have backup, backup information, stats to prove.
How did you get into bare knuckle fighting? Did they just call you to?
That was pretty much it.
Really? Okay.
Well, I knew the champion at the time,
Mm-hmm.
and we were friendly. We never met in person, but she's a badass, but she's also, she doesn't play the cute girl on social media. Not
Yeah.
because she doesn't want to, it's because she's ugly. But she doesn't play that game, and I wanted to support her as a fighter. She's a good fighter. And I
Yeah.
was talking to her, like, I might be interested, but I wasn't sure. But then, boom, I tore my lateral ligament on my right leg,
Mm.
and I couldn't grapple anymore. I couldn't train grappling. And I know everybody I fight in MMA wants to grapple because nobody want to catch his hands. So I'm like, okay, if I can't grapple, I can't do MMA because the chances of the other opponent trying to strike
Yeah.
with me are almost zero. So I want to do some boxing. So I was also injured when I kicked her ass. So because I was hurt, that's why I started to go into bare knuckle.
Wow. You got stories. You are definitely going to be amazing when you start doing your motivational stuff. Because some people, like you said, failure is part of it. And so many people are so afraid of fear. They're afraid of the failure that they stop, not realizing that there's so much more after it. So if they can just remove that fear part of it, they will, you know, reach so many different aspects in life, personal, emotional, you know, their careers, everything. What would
Absolutely.
you what would you like everyone to know about you that they don't know?
Let's keep that a secret.
Okay.
I'm Dominican, we got to keep some things to ourselves. They know what they need
Okay.
to know.
Okay. So what would you want people to associate when they hear your name? Like
Mm.
what image do they want? Do you want them to have of you?
Someone who doesn't give up. I do not give up. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to follow through. That doesn't mean I'm going to get what I want, but I'm going to give it 100%
Mhm.
because I feel that's the key to success. And success sometimes is not getting what you wanted. Success is just knowing that you went there mentally,
Mhm.
and physically. You took yourself there. So sometimes I go to, even when I go to the gym, sometimes I go to the gym and I get my ass whooped because there's so many people there that are better than me. And I don't feel bad about
Mhm.
that. But there's some days that I cut corners, like I gave up 3 seconds before the clock runs out. I walked away, 2 seconds before
Mhm.
it was 27 push up and I did 26. I know I cut corner. Nobody else noticed, but I do. And
Yeah.
going home with that is way worse than just doing the last push up until failure.
Mhm. Now you just have what, 11 days before your fight?
Yes, correct.
And how are you, or what are you going to be doing these next days to your fight?
Well, today is Wednesday, so I have to go back to the gym at 7. We do kickboxing, Muay Thai, kind of, but mostly conditioning, really hard
Mhm.
strikes. Then after that, we go into MMA class, just kind of put it all together. We don't hit as hard in MMA because the gloves are smaller. Then
Mhm.
tomorrow, I have wrestling with my coach, mostly counter wrestling. I'm making her pay every time she comes hug me. Then at night, we do some more jiu-jitsu. Then Friday, fight simulation. So we simulate the
Mhm.
fight. I have someone that will simulate her movements and what she wants to do. And then coach will tell me, give me cues, almost like if we were in the cage, just to kind of
Mhm.
establish that connection, the line of communication. So when he says something, I know what he means. Then
Yeah.
Saturday is the hardest day because we do kind of like fight simulation, but just the cardio part. But we want to have 3 times the cardio than the other person
Oh,
does. So it's really,
yes.
really hard day. It's going to be Saturday. After that, I have to drive 18 hours to Iowa because I came here to visit New Jersey and I haven't left. That was 6 weeks ago. I was like, oh, I like training. I'm just gonna stay here. So I gotta go home, pet my puppy, so I can be a little less hostile when I get to weigh-ins. Get my fight shorts printed, get my braids in.
Mhm.
Once the braids are on, the fight is on. Right now, I'm nice and humble, but once I get those braids in, I'm just a complete different person. Then from there, I'll drive to Kansas City. That's about 4.5 hour drive on Tuesday with quarantine, COVID test. Wednesday is media day, signing posters,
Mhm.
doing little media videos. Thursdays weigh-in, so I don't have to cut much weight for this fight because I went up a weight class, so I didn't have to, kill my body the way I did
Yeah.
before. After weigh-ins, then I only concentrate on rehydration. Then once I'm rehydrated, Thursday night, then I start thinking about what I want to do to her. And then Friday, it's fight night, and then after the fight, celebration time, gin and tonic, baby. That's the plan. That's my schedule.
You're awesome. So you're not doing all the driving. Somebody's driving for you to Kansas, or you driving yourself?
Yeah, I'm driving myself. I do that a lot.
Oh,
I like the quiet in the car. I love people, but like when I'm in fight like mode, I am a very hostile individual.
I can imagine.
Because
with everything
I'm nice.
you're putting...
I'm just really nice.
Yeah.
So I gotta turn that switch.
Yes. And that's okay. So you're getting your braids before you start driving to Kansas, or when you're in Kansas?
I'll get it before because they do have someone in Kansas, but I think it's a white girl. I like black girls to do my braids because I have very curly hair.
Yeah.
White girls not gonna know what to do with them, so I get my braids before I get there. So I take my time, and someone I am paying to do it, so it gets done the way I want it. And it's part of my little ritual.
Oh, good. All right. Is there anything that you would like to share with us, or say to your sponsors, your fans, your friends, your family before we conclude with the interview?
I just want to thank everybody who have supported me and had anything to do with me being here. Anything from just sponsoring, or just like you saw a poster and you're like, I want her to win. I really like her style. Even that, I feel like I do believe in energy. And I feel right now, I feel like I'm getting a lot of positive energy from people who might not even talk to me. Maybe they see me post something, they might like it, but never interact with me. But I don't know. I just feel like a lot of people are on my corner, people that I know and people who I don't know. So I want to thank those. I want to thank my coaches, of course, my training partners. I want to thank you for the opportunity to be here. And if you want to see a really, really good fight, I'm not saying I'm going to win, but it's going to be something to watch. You want to tune in and watch. It's going to be free on Invicta FC Fighting Championship YouTube channel and an AXS TV channel. It's going to be 8 p.m. Central Time.
Okay.
That's
Awesome.
August 27th.
Well, I'm going to have to watch the replay because I'm going to be at another show that night. But I'll make sure that I don't see anything so nobody spoils it for me.
Okay.
No spoilers for me. Awesome. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. I enjoyed this interview. You gave me some great laughs. Looking forward to not only your fight career, but your motivational career and everything that you have going. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too. Bye-bye.